Cloud9 versus TSM. And if the top two teams clashing weren't hype enough, how fitting is it that Zven is going up against his former teammates in Broken Blade and Bjergsen, looking to maintain that undefeated streak?
Yeah, we saw one grudge match go heavily in favor of the player on the new team.
Yeah.
We'll see if it happens again, because Zven is dominating the league right now, and I'm sure he wants to add just one more notch.
I think the unlucky part is the meta bot lane is not that deadly. I think if meta was a lot more violent down there, I think I'd be really excited to see how Zven plays against Kobbe.
There's Callista's now.
Apparently Callista's in the meta.
There's also Ezreal's, who you're not going to ever kill.
I know.
Zven's a big Ezreal player too, so I'm worried that we'll see that. I hope we don't, though.
Yeah, but there's a couple different kinds of Ezreals. There's the more aggressive Ezreals. Hopefully we can see some of that out of him. And I mean, he is crushing right now. He's playing with a level of confidence I haven't seen at all in North America out of him. With TSM, it always felt like they wanted to be a really good team, and everyone was kind of sacrificing to be that, whereas C9 unlocks everyone to kind of be who they're supposed to be. And so now, yeah, he's still mostly not the focus of early game action, but he's always there picking up a ton of kills and assists over the course of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think C9, weirdly enough, right, they usually have, or most teams usually have like one style, like they're playing through mid, top, blah, blah, blah. C9's actually kind of like everywhere, like who to kind of attack because they're all doing well and playing well together.
There is something special about this team. 72 KDA you saw there for Zven, but he has not been the only story for Cloud9 as Avali met up with the Week 3 Player of the Week.
Thanks, guys. I have this week's MasterCard Player of the Week, Cloud9 jungler, undefeated jungler, excuse me, Blaber. Blaber, as always, you have a trophy, and I know we've made you wait, but you could go ahead and open it now. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see.
Oh my god. What a great pose that looks exactly like Zven's.
Okay, are you just copying everyone's pose? Is everyone doing the same pose now?
Yeah, I think I wasn't paying attention when they told me it was for the MasterCard Player of the Week. So I did the normal pose that everyone does.
You know, it's a power pose. It's a power pose because you're playing as a very, very powerful jungler right now. You're totally leading in the stats. Cloud9, again, undefeated. So what about your play? How have you been able to maximize your effectiveness on this team?
I think it's been really easy for me to do what I want. I really like to invade the enemy jungler and play super aggressive. And I think my lanes have been winning most of the time. So they've been allowing me more freedom in what I want to do. They're always able to back me up. And then if they aren't, I think I've learned better to like play more safe and know when it's my timing to make a play.
And big game today against TSM and their jungler, Dardoch. How do you think your playstyle is going to go against them, and how do you think that match is going to go?
I think my playstyle and Dardoch's are pretty similar. I've always respected him as a jungler, and I think it's definitely going to be a good game. I think TSM is looking like the second best team in the league right now, so I'm hoping that we can show we're the best.
Well, best of luck to you. You can pose your statue right in front of your computer as you play. But hey, everyone who's watching, if you want to take home one of these Blaber statues, all you have to do is tweet at MasterCard Nexus, and you could be one of the lucky people to bring home a mini Blaber. But that's it for us here. Back to you guys.
Some more affirmation there out of Blaber's mouth that they do believe TSM is the second best team in the league. Earlier today, though, Blaber, Dardoch was a point of focus for us, Mark.
Yeah, and you heard him talking about how he's, you know, respects Dardoch, and it's kind of like Blaber is the jungler that Dardoch was always supposed to be, the young mechanical player who's really aggressive and is going to take over games. Never quite panned out long term, and now Blaber has the highest win rate in the league, so it feels like he is that guy.
Yeah, he has really found his form, but probably you mentioned before we head over there to listen to him that Cloud9, it really is something about the team as a whole, and their stats speak to that. It's just utter dominance across their first 6 games.
They're such a clean team, actually, where once they get their leads, you don't see this like back and forth. Like sometimes you're in league games and you're just wondering like, are they gonna actually close? I know they have a lead, but are they gonna actually win? But when you watch C9, you're like, all right, they got a 1K goal lead at 10 minutes. Like, I guess I'll see you in 30 minutes. When
All right, we're done. We're done.
Yeah, like, I guess we're done now.
So that's, again, where we should turn our attention to TSM, obviously fighting what is considered to be an uphill battle here, trying to hand the first loss over to Cloud9. Flexibility in draft was something we pointed to as maybe being avenue where they could find an advantage or at least throw C9 a curveball and get them off kilter.
Yeah, I think that's a really big advantage that TSM has, and I think C9 and TSM are probably the best drafting teams we have right now. And I think TSM is But I think TSM's advantage over C9 is they have taken a lot more risks in the draft where they're playing things first time on stage. And I think this is a new patch, so hopefully we'll see some of that. But the way that they're drafting is going to be especially important now that they're on red side. And I think Broken Blade getting the counter pick, which I think they'll give it to him over Bjergsen playing the Ornn mid. I think they'll give Broken Blade that counter pick, so I think it plays into like the good drafts that they have, the flexibility they have on red side is even better. So I'm kind of looking for that to be their advantage.
Right, and I think the Dardoch too, he's finally feels like he's coming into his own after years of swapping through teams very, very quickly, and then a whole year in academy. I think now that he's come back in the LCS, he finally looks like he's hitting his stride. Took a little bit to get there. Week 1 was not super impressive out of him, but I think that's why his stats don't look as impressive. Whereas if you look at their performances last week, Dardoch was incredible.
We're talking up C9 quite a lot, but I think it is important to give our nod to TSM and say that they should be entering this conflict here with quite a bit of confidence. As the teams load themselves into Champion Select and the bands hit the table, let's throw it out to Captain Flowers and Kobbe to get us in the game.
Thank you, gentlemen. Here we go. This is the match of the week. Cloud9 versus TSM. 6-0, the only undefeated team here in the LCS in Cloud9, going up against longtime rivals in TSM.
And with TSM, seeing Immortals just get the victory right before them, they want this win to, again, stay tied for second place in the LCS. This would bring them to 5-2 to try and hit that mark. Currently, both of these teams are best early game teams in the LCS as well, so I'm expecting a draft here to look for lane dominance and to look for more of that early game. Cloud9, of course, has the highest goal difference in all these stats for early game, but TSM is right behind them.
Bans are completed for the first phase. It is Syndra, Xayah, and Ornn banned out by Cloud9, so that premier top lane tank we aren't going to see. Rumble, Aphelios, and Soraka banned out by TSM. Okay, with Set locked in first for C9, TSM have said we're picking Akali.
Yep, this is the not reworked, but this is heavily nerfed and then hotfix buffed back up for Akali. So you do have to target the R now. But one thing I immediately went in for the practice tool, you can guarantee land your E as well after it. It's kind of like the Kiana EQ combination there now with Akali, and they did buff up some of the flat numbers for Akali. By the way, Broken Blade has played a different champion every single game in the LCS, the most diverse top laner that we have, and this is a very high probability that he could take the Akali as well. It definitely could be Bjergsen, but in 2 sets, Akali definitely is a possibility because she has a lot of mobility to deal with it.
Yeah, we have seen this champion banned every single game up until the nerf back got her here in this patch. So this will be our first look at it. Broken Blade, definitely the type of player that you want to see having a game on one of these big pop-off carry-type champions. That being said, the boss is not to be underestimated. We have seen Set have some good games here in the LCS so far. That could also go into the jungle, remember, it's possible. But we'll see how Cloud9 wants to shape this one up. It is what we're assuming to be top laners and bottom lanes already locked in. So the bans are going to focus on what appears to be mid lane and jungle now with Lee and Yasuo banned away.
And funnily enough, 2 of the best set games that we've had in the LCS have been played by TSM from Broken Blade and from Dardoch. Let's take a look here, though. Bottom side of the map drafted pretty safely here for Cloud9 with Zven on the Varus. Still has very strong early lane plays, and Tom Kench can save him just like he can other attack damage carries that do not have dashes of their own. Varus is, again, one of those more unique carries that does bring crowd control from the bottom lane as well. TSM answering that, though, with the Nautilus for their hard engage. Let's take a look here. More junglers being banned out from TSM, trying to focus down on Cloud9 and lower the pool. I definitely expect a round 4 pick of a jungler for TSM, trying to hold their flex pick for their other solo lane further. And C9, what solo lane are they going to ban out here? They do take away the Pantheon as well on top of it.
Let's see what TSM want to go for here in the jungle. Or do you save the jungle? They must have something clever waiting for that last jungle pick. Or this could just be a bait. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if they do want to lock it in.
Zoe's a super popular blind pick mid laner right now, but they are going to pick up the 4-spot jungler for themselves, and it is AP. So with Akali also being majority AP damage, I'm expecting actually maybe an AD laner here for TSM to come on round 5.
Ooh.
And that would be one of them, so could be a steal away pick here.
Kiana hovered, at least locked in for Cloud9, so we will see Blaber on that one. They're just having fun with you, audience. They're not locking in Zed. I guarantee you, man. It's not going to happen. Kiana, though, that's much more likely.
Yeah, because nobody likes playing against Kiana Gragas. That is
It's just not fair.
So, yeah,
it's just not fair.
It's such an insane death sentence because of the crowd control chain that you can get off with those two champions. And also, Cloud9 have been very good at utilizing the Kiana early on, so they get an AP jungler for themselves in Elise and pair the Elise with the Kiana.
TSM, 1 pick left to go, and the name of the game is Renekton. Locked in here. So Renekton and Akali, the solo lanes for TSM.
And I do like it if they keep the lanes as they are now. I already mentioned about the Akali, really good mobility, which is one of the best stats you want versus Set. And Renekton into Kiana is just a stats check. And if you can get your time in with the stats check and trade with Renekton, then Kiana will be very unhappy. But the Kiana player obviously does try and kite it a bit more, play back, throw the Qs for CS plus harassment and the like. And I think that they will leave the lane matchups how they are.
Both of these junglers do have the ability to get off some powerful early ganks, as is the name of the game in the current meta. Both AD carries immobile, but as you already mentioned, the Tahm Kench can keep Varus nice and safe. And another thing that got hit with Akali is, remember, she also doesn't just have quite as strong of a laning phase as she used to. The Qs can't be spammed out as effectively as they were back in the day. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how she stacks up against Set, because you talk about a champion that stat checks you. Set is so powerful if you ever get within range of him. The weakness of the champion is you have to play around him, not into him. And I want to see how well Broken Blade and TSM are able to do that.
And this is going to also be Broken Blade's 7th champion in 7 games, so he keeps the streak going, trying to show off the flexibility of TSM.
And this is also Bjergsen's first LCS Renekton game. Funny because this guy's been playing in the LCS for so very long. You know he's got so much experience on so many different champions, but the Croc hasn't been one of them. That's a lot of words. Those are pretty small, but we got some fans from, one says C9, one says TSM. I know they're on opposite sides, but they're sitting right next to each other. These are the kinds of games that divide friends and fans.
All right, let's get into it, because I'm excited to see as well. Broken Blade not scared to pick up the Akali after those big nerfs. Definitely going to be a big talking point. Fans are ready for this one, actually. They're all over it.
The crowd is rowdy, and I am about it. Everyone is ready for C9 versus TSM, and as we're waiting for minions to spawn, we got Ovely standing by with a sideline report with Reaper. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. I've got Reaper. There we go. Now we have the Cloud9 chance behind us. Reaper, you're coming into this big match for Cloud9 against TSM. A lot of people here are cheering on TSM, thinking that they are going to hand you your first loss. What do you have to say to that?
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen?
That's not gonna happen today.
What about the Akali pick, though? We haven't seen her. She's been like almost 100% pick ban since today, or until today.
Oh yeah, actually, there are some interesting draft, like Akali top and Renekton mid. So I'm not too sure. I don't see her like often in the scrims. So yeah, we'll see.
All right, well, Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck to you. Back to the casters.
Not gonna happen today, he says.
And once again, looking at the Akali changes, everyone was super put off by all the nerfs. And I think that they didn't quite pay attention to much of the follow-up buffs, which are just flat damage, but it did open up this one combo where you can R1 as a target ability with the increased range, and immediately Shuriken and Flip afterwards to guarantee that hit. So the flat damage bonuses to those two abilities definitely can still be used as a sort of different, little bit different point of power for the champion. But again, yeah, Akali a lot less safe basically, because you can't use the R as just an escape. Has to be targeted ability here. Blaber did head on over for the invade after Red as well. If we keep track of the jungle pass here, he's trying to split the map a little bit.
Red straight to enemy blue, and you can see a ward had been placed down by C9. So they can see that Dardoch is taking these Krugs as well. Dardoch is not mirroring the path shown here by Blaber. C9 is aware of that, but C9 also has to deal with the fact that Broken Blade is stuck underneath his turret. Licorice does have priority here on the top side.
Yeah, Set is very good at getting early priority because especially even just level 1, Set having the passive, which basically gives you double autos. He can run at people, get really good trades, and Licorice using that effectively to rush to the level 2, then shove the wave in to kind of cut off those counter options for the jungle you're talking about. Now mid lane, lockdown.
Oh. Bjergsen running away from Nisqy, who's looking to put the lockdown onto him. Bjergsen has the flash available. Blaber's coming up here to try to assist with this one. Nisqy continuing to chase. Did not have access to further CC to lock him down as the river was all the way back behind him, but he still gets a flash out of TSM's mid lane.
And this has been the Cloud9 motto for this season. Ooh, another good trade here for Licorice. Pulls in Broken Blade for the Haymaker. But it has been aggression early for this team. That's what earned them this 2.2K average gold lead at 15 minutes throughout the league. And they've used that to run over everyone. So Nisqy chasing Bjergsen out of lane and getting both summoners. Blaber also finding Dardoch here.
Blaber saying, I don't care about the crab, I'm here to farm you. Going after Dardoch, goes into the rappel to try to keep himself alive, drops down away from the barrel, but now he could potentially be in trouble. Bjergsen going to be taken very low. Dardoch now is going to end up providing the kill for his mid laner, and TSM have won themselves a fight. Nisqy still has no flash. He's taken down, and TSM get 2 for Bjergsen.
Blaber may be a little bit too accustomed to winning those early skirmishes. Calls over Nisqy for the long chase in what starts out as a 2v1. And we talked about Renekton wants straight up stats checks where he just gets to fight you early on. So TSM very happy to actually take it. Dardoch runs off the scuttle. Critically, he heals off of smiting and getting the scuttle. So Blaber, after the repel, it actually took a bit longer. Nisqy then forced a flash to follow up, and he can't actually finish it. Blaber using his own flash to try and go for it. And once he's down, there's a half rage Renekton chasing down Nisqy, so he's left looking at Blaber saying, what did you just cause me? Bit of a trouble there for Cloud9. I'm actually really excited to see what does happen now, because this is such a different story from all of the early games that we have had for Cloud9. And it looked like it was going to be more of the same when they chased off Bjergsen and got his flash, but with the failure of that 2v2 skirmish being a bit too over-aggressive by Blaber in the damage exchanged early and using his cooldowns a lot very early there with the repel and putting him into a bad spot for Nisqy. Now it completely shifts, and we'll see what TSM can actually do with it.
Good sign for TSM if you're the first team that can put Cloud9 in a position that makes us, as spectators, as fans, ask, what do they even look like from this position? So I wholeheartedly agree with you there. Bjergsen still with double buffs here on the Renekton means that stat check cannot be passed, at least until those dissipate. Licorice continuing just a brawl with Broken Blade up here. Remember, now the smoke also does not permanently give Akali the movement speed buff as long as she stays in it. You only get that buff for the first 2 seconds after casting the ability. So you don't quite have as much dodge potential when you're running around inside of it. It does make it easy for Licorice to hit abilities like the Haymaker. And we're going to see Blaber starting up this first Drake very early on, pre-6 minutes in this game. It looks like he should be able to get it. Broken Blade going in here, top side. He's got the ulti, and he forces the flash away from Licorice, taking good advantage of that level 6 versus level 5 power difference.
And again, the hotfix buffs here made Akali more offensive, right? Because of the way that they changed the ultimate. Targeted rather than ground targeted and getting the extra range. So he respects the extra damage output there. Classic traded in the process. You can see, as far as the experience goes, Nisqy feeling the hit a little bit from the early 2v2, and Licorice a bit on the back foot because Broken Blade did push it in, but not the biggest difference there. The big outstanding one is going to be keep your eye on Blaber, who is at the bottom now with Elise.
Nisqy's happy to just stay back, maybe give up a little bit of farm, keep himself safe from this Renekton until he gets that ulti ready to go. And remember, Qiyana is so effective at roaming around the map, setting plays up with the rest of her team. We'll see if Bjergsen can shut that down, or if Nisqy will be able to group up with the rest of Cloud9 and work together to get things running after this less than optimal early game. TSM still sitting on a 1,000 gold lead. Cloud9 with that first dragon in their pocket. See who decides to go for the next big move. It was C9 that, again, made that call for the fight that TSM won, which has been uncharacteristic. That's kind of iconic of the old Blaber. The Blaber that felt more coin flippy. Is he going to have a crazy good aggressive game, or is he going to end up running it down the jungle? These were the criticisms of him when he first started as a player. He seemed to really be growing out of that and just becoming a coin that always landed on heads so far for these first 3 weeks. But now that it finally came up tails, I really want to pay attention to him and his momentum throughout the rest of this early game.
And I still take that coin. I like that coin.
All right, you're still a fan.
If that is getting that many successful early skirmishes, and this is the price that you have to pay, A little bit of a miscalculation in the early game. Still definitely possibilities for them to work with. Double buff picked up here for Dardoch though, and he's ready with the ultimate as well. No level 6 for Nautilus though, so until Biofrost actually has the setup, it's gonna be very difficult. That's a Tom Kench next to your Varus, so keeping Zven very safe. You know, they must protect that KDA, Captain Flowers.
Yup.
Even though he did die one time last week.
No
Still
more
available.
Now we're going in. Now it's Dardoch into the bottom side. Flash away coming out from Vulcan, but the explosive cast goes out. MF ulti goes through. Vulcan is still alive, ladies and gentlemen. He manages to stay out of the way of the damage threats, and TSM will not find their mark.
Nisqy roam.
Nisqy's made his way down to the bottom side, looking to grab the kill. Kobbe barely walking himself away. That's one kill going over to Cloud9, nearly able to make it to Dardoch. Should be able to clean this up before Nisqy gets to him. Oh, is this really going to be the outplay? Not quite. Nisqy so close to getting a couple there.
Does get one for himself. More so though, the bottom lane for Cloud9 fighting off the 2v3 gank there, making their presence felt, and then Zven teleports back out to this Rift Herald. So he's being very active as well. Level 6 on the Varus, did use his ultimate there in the bottom little chase, and they're not spending the time to clear that control ward because they wanted to burn this down before TSM actually get here, but TSM are in routes now. Eyeball popped, and it's getting smite range.
So many bodies coming in from both sides. Broken Blade gonna be taking some damage from Licorice. He's looking to just body slam Bjergsen. It's set from the top rope, and the Gator is out of there. Kobbe now on the run. Cloud9, they trade one away for it, but they got two. Blaber's out of the picture, so the objective is a bit more risky.
Yeah.
Dardoch still hanging around.
Yeah, Blaber there, that's one member in a big pack of C9 members, and he actually goes down a little bit over chasing, not quite looking at his own life there. He does get the kill for them onto Kobbe, but it means that they're not going to do the Rift Herald afterwards. C9 happy to get the gold there. Licorice comes through with the big dunk. And here it is. This Herald gets so low, the second eye pop, but then when Bjergsen goes in, it looks like a really good opportunity here for Licorice to separate him from the team, and they get the kill. Now, take a look at this. They do get Kobbe, and Blaber actually wasn't that low when it started. He just got popped. Dardoch, I think, electrocute proc there as well at the same time from somebody. No, nobody even has electrocute. So they're able to just burst him down with the MF and the Gragas damage.
MF does so much damage.
Yeah.
This champion has an incredible amount of burst between the enchanted auto attack and the double up. TSM have made their way onto the Rift Herald now. Cloud9 are bringing troops back up to this front line, but TSM have 4 guys here already. Cloud9 can see that. Shelly taken down to 3,000 HP now. A little bit more damage and a proc of the eye is going to do it. Nice bullet time from TSM. Vulcan using the stasis to buy a little bit of time. Broken Blade nearly going to be killed. Nisqy now having to use the ultimate defensively. Vulcan once again barely kept alive. Biofrost going into a stasis of his own. Dardoch's not able to find a kill just yet. Nisqy grabbing the kill onto Biofrost. And Cloud9 have navigated this fight just beautifully. Bjergsen stands alone, 1v5. How do they keep getting away with it? Cloud9 just take everything.
And in my eyes, that whole fight, Flowers, were on the mini-map because they were doing that 4v5 with Licorice continuing to split push. In the end, because Cloud9 actually pulled off so effectively, let's take another look at it because as you can see on the bottom of your screen, this is 4v5. That's why it's not a full commitment here. And they just kind of poke down Broken Blade. They force him out. They don't actually over-chase. It is TSM that then chase a bit too far here. After Broken Blade gets pulled out, they don't have the extra damage to finish off the kill onto Vulcan. And instead, with Nisqy hopping over the wall, C9 pick them apart. And then they decide, all right, Licorice, teleport in. We're going to clean up another one here. And since Licorice is there, he can ult them away from Blaber, so Bjergsen can't even get the counter kill onto Blaber. And they do save his life on top of it. Then we're back out onto an Infernal Dragon here on the Rift. Broken Blade does have teleport, but TSM might want a breather.
We are almost averaging 1 kill a minute in this game. TSM want to slow that down. You said it. Breathe in, breathe out, find your peace, find your center, get back on track because Cloud9 have turned the momentum of this game around.
To be fair, we did warn you that these are the 2 strong early game teams of the LCS.
That's true. That's
Most
true.
kills and assists and C9 have fought their way actually back into a gold lead even after losing the early 2v2 skirmish that we talked about with Blaber. That's why I said even after that skirmish, I still want that coin because they're able to keep on flipping. They do get 2 dragons for themselves to boot, so it's not just a static gold lead. Really big fights here for Cloud9 in the skirmishes that they've been able to earn for themselves.
And I want to point out, because you said specifically in draft how with the AP in the jungle, the AP on the top side, pretty AP heavy top half of the map here for TSM, Licorice has done a good job itemizing towards that, grabbing an early Hex Drinker, makes him practically impossible to kill for TSM without bringing Bjergsen up there. So he's feeling super comfortable farming up. He's got a 31 gold lead over his opponent.
Yeah, Licorice,
31 CS lead, sorry.
He's a massive bait right now because not only does Set already have the Haymaker shield, which catches a lot of people off guard, with a Hex Drinker on top of it, his health pool is a lie, my friend.
Yeah.
Because he will get shields on shields. And it's very good to combine those to get those surprise plays and bait people in. Meanwhile, the C9 bottom lane still pushing ahead.
And they get the last plate with 1 second to spare, 13:59. That bottom lane turret falls, Cloud9 cash in, almost 3,000 gold ahead of their opponents now. Zven also commanding over a 35 CS advantage compared to his opponent in Kobbe, who's just barely over 100 on the Misfortune. Blade of the Ruined King and Berserker's Greaves fully completed for Zven's Varus. Across the table, we got a garage sale of Essence Reaver parts. That's not gonna do it.
Zven definitely feeling good about playing his old team, and I did see an interview with him where he talked about, yeah, I try and focus on just every team one by one. Every game is similar. It's just look at the plays in front of you and try and judge accordingly, nameplates off, but you can't help but want it a little bit more against the old team. Yeah. So it's got to be feeling good for him also playing really well in this match versus TSM. We'll see the Rift Tail used by them on bottom side to try and get some territory back for themselves, but C9 do collapse to defend it.
I like TSM going for this. I like trying to not just concede everything to Cloud9. Make sure you're taking any advantage you can find, but C9 are quick to respond. The turret loses half his HP, but considering it's still standing, TSM won't find the success they were looking for. They fall back, decide to regroup, send bot lane home, let him shop up. There's that Essence Reaver completed onto Kobbe. Very powerful item here for the MF. See if that's able to help him out in these upcoming team fights. But one problem that's been there for TSM so far, the bullet times have been placed in a spot where they haven't got all the damage they wanted. The first time in bottom lane, Vulcan was able to sidestep it. The second time in the fight around the top lane jungle, it was Dardoch throwing a cast that actually knocked Zven out of the bullet time. They need to get big value out of those ultis.
That's one of the things that people like to point out for anti-synergies, I guess.
Yeah.
is whenever you have Gragas, right, in one of those comps that does like to get big AoEs, it's not like a full-on instant combo breaker, but you do have to be very careful with the placements. And oftentimes, since your skirmishes are so fast, you don't really get to communicate it with your team, like, hey, I'm gonna ult now. No, you need to press that button now.
Yeah.
So it requires really good intuition from the teams and the players being well equipped to kind of recognize the play styles and when their teammates are going to go for different.
Oh, Nisqy!
I really don't like playing against Qiyana as a jungler, by the way. Little known fact. Anyways, really good job there by Nisqy because Dardoch going over obviously is an easy target for him, even though he has stopwatch. Qiyana, probably most well known for 100% to zeroing junglers. And I need to go back and check, but did he get level 11 right before that kill? Not after it, because rank 2 ultimate is going to ensure that you definitely get that burst before the stopwatch goes off.
We'll check on the replay, but for now, it's Blaber taking the second Rift Tail. Turns out you can do that pretty easily when your opponent's jungler just happens to get popped like a balloon by your mid laner in the bottom lane. And Dardoch must have been feeling safe. He was down there. It looked like they were going to maybe do a turret dive. He's thinking, all right, we'll just walk home. Not what the doctor ordered there, man.
Yeah, Qiyana, extremely mobile, lethality user, hopping over the wall to get the kill onto the jungler, much like you see Talon players do. Set up for this dragon, though, started by TSM. They do have the control ward in the Pixel Brush. So watch for the grouping here. Licorice flanking around the bottom of your screen. He wants that big dunk onto Kobbe.
Cloud9 have made their way in. Drake has been leashed. Kobbe is going to be jumped on, and Licorice is just beating the ever-living hell out of him. Misfortunes out of the fight. Nisqy's going to be taken low, but he's going to take Dardoch out with him before he goes. Broken Blades over the wall, but Cloud9, they've got 2 kills. They lost their mid laner, and they've got the Drake.
Woo. When you can see that play coming, it feels nice to have the Fog of War off for us. Yes, one of these classic Licorice flanks around the backside. And then when TSM opened their eyes, oh no, we've run right into him. Oh, boom, dunked into the side of the wall. Look at this ult. Dardoch actually moved, so Kobbe didn't die to the true damage because Licorice got moved to the side, but he just flashes afterwards to finish up the kill. And I didn't even look at the top of the screen because my eyes were focused on Licorice and Kobbe. But C9 also just charged right through the top of the screen, winning that half of the fight. And it does look like C9 will continue their charge through the LCS here, just demolishing yet another early game. 3 dragons stacked up so quickly that the soul is going to arrive very early into this one.
That team fight, Kobbe didn't even have an opportunity to try to orb walk away from Licorice. He had to just run as fast as he could. Nothing to do, 0 damage from the TSM 80 carry.
All right, Monday Night League is going to come as well. Tune in for some more action. Monday at 5 p.m. Take a look at C9, though. They're not letting up on the pressure. They just had a 1-3-1 going where they have Nisqy on top side, Licorice on bottom side, but then Licorice actually doesn't push that wave, and he rotates over for this mid lane play instead because Cloud9 do have the Rift Herald. Nisqy doing the same now means that they're going to easily get that secondary, and they can actually retreat and go catch the minion waves before they even crash to their own towers. Shelly getting off charge number 2 is going to leave middle at that low health for a very long time. And Cloud9 fully reset here. They've got wards already leading up to Baron, trying to cut off any counterplay here from TSM.
Yeah, remember that, I mean, the tier 3 turrets do regenerate slowly over time, unlike the tier 1 and tier 2s, but when it's that low, it's gonna take more than a few minutes to get it back to a healthy state. And Cloud9 with a 6,000 gold lead with 3 of those Drakes, like you mentioned, it's soul point here in 3 minutes. Baron is already up. We're only just barely past the 20-minute mark, and they control the entirety of Summoner's Rift. TSM has not taken a single turret. And so for Cloud9, the question now just becomes, how soon can you go for the jugular? How soon can you put the final couple nails in this one and call it a day? Because we want to see them set down the wards in the enemy jungle. Right now, I want to applaud TSM for having good vision control over their topside jungle and stopping Cloud9 from choking them out as effectively as they want to.
So probably it's going to be about 2 minutes, 13 seconds. I don't know where I got that number
That
from.
seems like a very specific prediction, my friend. A very specific one indeed.
Yeah, Mountain Dragon for the soul is about to arrive for Cloud9. And they're keeping their vision on the Baron just to make sure there's no, trade there for TSM. If they happen to get 5 people in and try and burn down that Baron while C9 got lazy looking for the soul, maybe that would be a way for TSM. But since C9 have such a good early lead, and both drafts have been kind of drafted around these early skirmishes, if they get a Mountain Soul with that giant extra shield to start off the fights, it just allows them to push so much harder on the already weakened mid turret that they can brute force straight down that mid lane and earn themselves. Oh, whoa, bottom lane spammed with pings here as they're going for Bjerg.
Tom Kench has brought in backup. It's a 3 versus 1. Bjergsen will hightail it out of there. But, oh, did I say 3? I meant 4. It's Blaber here too. Bjergsen's just going to buy as much time as he can. There's not really any way out of this one. Running into the turret, dashing through the minions. Uh-oh, max range cocoon grabs onto him there. Repel up, repel down, and Licorice is just wailing on him.
Meanwhile, Nisqy pushes mid while Zven already pushed on the bottom side, and he might even, does he have a minion to work with? He can get that secondary turret on the bottom lane. And, yep, he did have a minion. It just died at the end there, and he finishes off the turret while they chase down Bjergsen. No opportunity for a counterplay for TSM. As soon as you started talking, oh, there's 4 people chasing after Bjergsen, Cloud9 pull off the excess players to try and defend against possible counterplay, so they don't send everybody to the bottom side, opening up counter Baron. They don't overuse their resources and just pick up a bunch more extra gold, setting up for that Mountain Soul to arrive.
Mountain Soul in 15 seconds. Broken Blade was top. Licorice has gone up there to clear out the wave with still not sacrificing a single turret. It is turning into quite a precarious situation here for TSM. Licorice will still keep pushing top. He's got TP ready to make it down to this fight. 1 second, the Drake is alive. Blaber's sitting there in the brush. Ward placed down though means nobody from TSM has to face check it. Dardoch goes over the wall with a blast cone, and C9 have already begun the Drake. This is a moment where Dardoch could end up being the hero if he's able to make a steal, but Nisqy's made his way into the fight. A lot of damage coming down onto Biofrost, gonna be kept alive now by the Gargoyles. Stoneplate Blaber going into the stasis, nearly gonna be taken down. Bjergsen now very low, Nisqy grabbing the kill. Cloud9 seeing if anybody from TSM is dare brave enough to walk any closer. No, sir, they are not, and that is Mountain Soul Cloud9.
Cloud9 just puts so much pressure on you while they're playing. They burn on this dragon. They force the teleport out, and then as TSM start to funnel in, just take a look at the positioning in that team fight as they actually get a really good funnel. And Nisqy on the bottom side does separate the team. He chunks out Biofrost, forcing the flash, but even though the wraparound ultimate stuns him back up, he doesn't overchase. They turn on the section-off member of TSM to get the kill. Licorice looking for Dardoch.
They'll just slam him down into the wall. He's got Nisqy right next to him. No chance for a steal. They make sure of it, and Baron is secured by Cloud9.
I feel like going from playing other League of Legends teams in the LCS to going to play Cloud9 is like going from playing chess without the timer to playing like 30-second round chess. And here's what I'm kind of talking about. They just then turn on Bjergsen, who's sectioned off from the rest of the team. Blaber kind of baited it there. He had the reliance of knowing that he has his stopwatch activation plus repel. Whenever you have Zhonya's acquired on Elise, it feels so good because you're not tanky, but you can buy a bunch of time in stasis. You know, just go immune with your Zhonya's, and then another few seconds with your repel, so they're easily able to finish off the lone member there of TSM when the team got split up due to the fearsome Kiana in the river, which must be respected.
And remember, TSM's not a bad team. If they win this game, are in a position to tie for Immortals. It's looking unlikely at this point in time, but this is a team that is standing at the top of the table as well. Cloud9 just looks so definitively in a league of their own after these first 3.5 weeks of play. This is definitely not a team that would lose to Schalke. Let's see what happens against TSM, though, who are now stuck in their own base, trying to defend against the Cloud9 onslaught as they command greater than a 10,000 gold lead. Zven's gonna find himself hooked, and it's Biofrost starting off the fight. Vulcan doing a good job protecting that AD carry. Licorice hanging out off to the side, making sure Broken Blade's not able to flank, and Biofrost is already down. Bullet time will not do a damn thing as Cloud9 pushes into the TSM base. The first inhibitor turret is broken. Licorice will enchant the mid lane minion wave, bring that one right up there. It's like a delivery service. The limo driver just picked him up, dropped him off. Thank you, sir. Here's your tip. Let's take that inhibitor now. Mid lane inhibitor down to half HP. Broken Blade coming in, a TP going to be used. It is still 8 seconds before Biofrost is alive. Dardoch is under fire. He has to back away. Cloud9 already have one Nexus turret down. Bjergsen behind enemy lines. Gonna go ahead, cast the Dominus right now, but he's not able to make it onto anyone valuable here just yet. Nisqy goes golden. He'll stay just fine. Dardoch also gonna be using the stasis here. Licorice keeps everybody else away, and Bjergsen's gonna be taken out following his jungler, Biofrost, the next one to go, Kobbe 2. And ladies and gentlemen, they just make it look easy. Cloud9 win.
And the undefeated streak continues. Picking back up right where they left off last week with another speed run for Cloud9. Yes, there was that little bump in the beginning.
Yep.
In the 2v2 skirmish in the river. But that really didn't turn out to mean a whole lot, did it?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as that happened, you said that you were looking forward to seeing what happens now, because that's a situation we never saw Cloud9 in yet. They had so many early advantages in every other game that they've been playing so far this split, that's when you might have been sweating a little bit as a Cloud9 fan. Oh, is this where we expose the weakness in our game plan, where our Achilles heel was all along if our early plays don't work? The answer is no. Yes, Blaber goofed up. He picked a fight he shouldn't have picked, and they got rocked. TSM, they get the 2 free kills. They're off to a good start. But then all the subsequent fights, Cloud9 just plays better. They avoid getting killed by the Dardoch gank in the bottom lane. They masterfully play that fight in the top side jungle near the Rift Herald to keep everybody alive with about 100 HP. Absolutely incredible job from them on a macro and micro level. This team is scary.
Licorine said that he felt like this roster was a team that could challenge anyone in the world.
Oh, I love it. Give me the trash talk. Give me the confidence. That's all I want to see. But when we come back, Avli is ready to hear from the triumphant bot laner. Don't y'all go anywhere. We'll see you here in a few moments.